Ayan na. Kamusta kayo dyan, mga kameta? Mukhang eto na. Eto na ba? Eto na ba yung official, more or less official, legit, irreversible end ng so-called Uniteam? Ayan, wala pang midterm elections ng 2025 at mukhang ang dami pa nangyari. Or actually, not much probably will happen anytime soon dahil hindi na yata tutuloy itong oof. So, this is it. So, this is what we have been talking about for quite some time. In fact, 2021 pa lang sa isang article ko sa Nikkei Asia, I mentioned this possibility na talagang hindi na tutuloy itong Uniteam forever. Of course, back then in 2020, wala pang Uniteam technically speaking, but something like Uniteam was already being worked out, no? But now, eto na. This is it. This is it, pansit. Mukhang sinking ship ang tawagin natin dyan. Ito. So, nagsalita na ang ating Speaker of the House against those who malign, right? Those who malign the reputation of the House of Representatives. Of course, alam naman natin, pagdating sa House of Representatives natin, ito ay isa sa pinaka next level institution sa ating bansa. So, how dare anyone question the integrity? But when this comes from someone who should know a little bit more about integrity, palpak, saan na yung mga big fish? China, love you China, yung mga ganon, yan. Yan, kamusta na yung Farmali? Yan. Napasalita na po ang ating House leadership, napasalita na po ang de facto dominant faction of the ruling coalition, the OGs within the Uniteam, at of course, the Speaker of the House himself did not name etong mga tao na nag-question na integrity ng Speaker of the Philippine House of Representatives, but the Deputy Speaker of the House and someone who was a member of the PDP Laban has openly come out and said na this is the former President Rodrigo Duterte. No? So, kung ayaw maniwala, let's check the video very shortly. But before we go into the analysis ng etong more or less official end, no? Dito sa, let's just call it, Uniteam, Alliance of Convenience, whatever you want to call it. Let me just give some very short tribute dito sa isa sa mga leading writers sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas. Of course, we have Jose Rizal there, without a question. Si Sionel Jose, of course, there. Nick Joaquin. But as you may know, nag-pass away na po si Conrado de Quiros, who has been one of the leading writers of at least our era. And for me, pagdating kay Sir Conrado de Quiros, he has had a special place in my life. I never had the opportunity to actually meet him in person because by the time that I already joined the Philippine Daily Inquirer, I don't think the circumstances were right. Of course, I think some of you know what I'm talking about here. And then, of course, I was told, I have to double check this, na yung space ko dyan sa, almost exact space na ginagamit natin dyan sa column natin every week sa Philippine Daily Inquirer used to be, of course, were the constellation of his brilliant words and courageous works. That was the space that used to be occupied by him. So I always felt this burden of responsibility. In a way, I think all of us as columnists in the Philippine Daily Inquirer, anyone who takes his job seriously, as far as political columnist job is concerned, has always been in the shadow of very brave columnists like him. And well, I have to double check if technically that's the same space. But I heard also some people, including a very prominent senator, who said that that she reads a lot of columns, of course, every day, but her favorites have been Conrado de Quiros, and of course in more recent years, yours truly. And of course, so those comparisons. I mean, I don't dare to compare myself to people like him, because he was a playwright, he was a brilliant writer, incomparable. I mean, these people are institutions, and their legacies are definitely peerless. No. So I always felt that burden of responsibility, but as much as I felt that burden of responsibility, I was also always inspired, no, by Conrado de Quiros' courage, no, and pioneering contributions to Philippine journalism. Now, one of those, of course, served as an literal inspiration for my own intervention at some point. Ito yung blank column ni Conrado de Quiros. If I'm not mistaken, he had two of them, right? In protests. So one was this one. So especially during the Arroyo administration, the very unpopular administration, and amid all of the scandals and corruption issues and instability, this was one of his literary and political contributions. No, he said. So the title is "A List of the Things This Country May Look Forward to Over the Next 6 Years from 2014 to 2004 to 2010 under the administration of President Fernando Poe Jr. and Vice President Noli de Castro." And then it's blank, right? Maybe this is the context where perhaps FPJ was seen as the potential winner, but he has also another one, a kind of a jab at the one who will be the so you could see a bit spicy, the one who will end up actually as the president after 2014. Hello Garci, he also had something like that, no? And so when President Duterte in 2019, someone we'll talk about a little bit more later on, he said some really terrible, questionable things, and what really for me was just really beyond the pale. I mean, already the war on drugs that was claiming a lot of lives based on questionable data and conduct, etc., was already too much, and that's why I had to keep 1 kilometer away from anyone that had to do with that administration unless really necessary. But what really pissed me off big time, and this was really risky to do. I mean, risky because yung mga haters natin will accuse you of, nagpa-plagiarize siya. And in fact, those haters came from both sides of the political spectrum. That was one of the first times, or at least this was the era when I saw the viciousness of yung mga Dilawan also, not only the other side. But anyway, but it was a call of duty for me, and it was also taking inspiration from what Conrado de Quiros had in mind. So I was already very critical of how Duterte was responding to the situation, but when when Duterte downplayed, no, yung sinking ng Gemver, yung vessel natin, by the suspected Chinese militia vessel, and muntik na matay more than dozen Filipino fishermen, I just said, maybe this is the time. If you're gonna do something like Conrado de Quiros in terms of a blank protest column, right? Maybe this is the time. Maybe this is the time. And of course, again, sorry to haters, but West Philippine Sea is an issue that I kind of know about. I've written a number of books on it, hundreds, if not thousands, of articles on the issue already. So this was not about pa-cute or attention grabbing. This was a political protest, really in-your-face political protest, and accordingly, inspired by Conrado de Quiros. At least in the case of the Philippines, of course, this has been done abroad, but in the Philippines and in Philippine Daily Inquirer, he was really the one. No? I had this blank column, right? So this was a protest. This was not a pa-cute, diba? This was not a pa-cute kind of article. This was protest. This was a serious protest. And I'll tell you how serious it was. Not long after that, I did not only face tremendous amount of online harassments, death threats, and attacks. There was even this dumb, stupid legal harassment that was being pulled off by some people. Some of you already know the context of that. Someone tried to twist a picture whereby Picasso is here, and they tried to make it look like reckless driving. Whoever the dumb person behind that, I'll never forget what the person did. I'm quiet about that, but I went dun sa relevant government office and I said, where's the assistant secretary? I want to talk to this person. Who's behind this? I kind of know what's behind it, but I kind of moved on from that. But that was a lot of stress, and that was a lot of harassment, so you had to bring a legal team, you had to write something in response to that. That was, and things were so horrible during those months after writing that blank column. Oh, by the way, thank you very much to my editors at the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Immediately when they saw the blank column and the title, they knew what it was exactly all about. Salamat kay Conrado de Quiros, of course. He set the precedence also. But speaking about this, it was just so bad that I was effectively in exile towards the end of 2019. So I would come into country here and there, but I was actually more or less based in Taiwan during that time as a visiting scholar at National Chengchi University. I mean, I'm someone who really thinks very carefully if he wants to go into kind of semi-exile or exile. I always thought about that. Things were really vicious back then. So it was really bad. But it was this courage of conviction shown by Conrado de Quiros that really helped me to, hold myself together and to keep going and going until here. Ayan, naging vlogger na tayo, di ba? So that's why, he has had a big place in my life, and for idiots and haters who never understood the context or never wanted to understand the context and wanted to dismiss the situation, here you are. These are the basic facts. I was inspired by Conrado de Quiros. I even pointed out there, and this was not about myself. This is about a political protest. This was about a political protest against what I found was unfathomably unpatriotic. So don't give me this nonsense about, oh, independent. If you're truly independent, you're not going to be kowtowing and being so subservient, almost pathetically, slavishly subservient to bullying action against our own Mangingistan people. That was completely unacceptable to me. Now, thank God, here we are. And 2023, a lot is happening. A lot is happening. So again, maraming salamat kay Conrado de Quiros for the inspiration, and I hope one day, I'm far from perfect. Sometimes I get a little bit emotional. Sometimes we get a little bit picon. Sometimes I get more than picon. I get a little bit more, how should I put it? Medyo yung kantsawan natin gets out of control sometimes. I know. I tend to bully back a bit. I know that I'm far from perfect, and it's something I'm working on. But sometimes talaga sa tingin mo kailangan talaga eh. Kasi you cannot be intimidated. You have to push back. You have to show strength and courage of conviction. It's very, very important. But nevertheless, I hope one day yung mga iba dyan, they'll learn from my mistakes, but also learn from some of the good things that I've done based on the inspiration I got from great people. Among them, Conrado de Quiros. Now, let's go back to this. I can see already the pro-Tatay people are getting agitated there. Don't worry, you're going to get 10 times more agitated in an hour when we're going to talk to Ronald Diamas. Don't worry about it. We're going to have an R&R later on, so wait for that. There's going to be more attack coming from our friends there. But let's talk about this, because for more than a year, discussions about the future of Uniteam has dominated political discourse and has been a huge part of our vlogs and discussions. And I and Ronald Diamas, among others, have been among people who have been consistently talking about this, how fragile, how vulnerable this Uniteam alliance of convenience is. So as you know, let's go back to this video. Very interesting. It looks like things are getting official na. So I think tensions have been building up for quite some time. They entered this kind of a beginning of the final chapter, perhaps, was when Digong went as special envoy to China, self-appointed special envoy to China. I think that annoyed a lot of pro-Marcos people. That annoyed also people, who care about conducting not barangay-level geopolitics, but world-class, high-stakes geopolitics, because we're dealing with a very sensitive issue. And then, obviously, I think the last straw was perhaps, well, confidential daw eh. The last straw was the confidential fund situation, and then you have this intervention by, the autumn of the last patriarch type of person we have right now. We can talk about that later on. And here we are. We have a situation whereby, wala na eh. Wala na. I mean, for some people, lines have been crossed. I think the Tambaloslos statement already was, for people like Ronald Diamas, was already crossing the line. But I think when the attacks became more and more personal from the father, right, and against people in the Congress, including allies and all, that's really when things got out of control. So we saw this intervention by one of the top leaders in the Philippine House of Representatives, a very shrewd politician, I would say, someone who's very careful about what he talks about. And Yeah, I mean, look at
Say
this.
this, Mr. Chairman, but when I heard the word rotten, of course, I felt bad regarding Mr. Chairman.
I also would feel bad hearing that accusation that the house is rotten. But may we know who
Ito
uttered
na!
that statement?
Ito na! Ito
Was it a
na!
comic
Ito
or
na!
a leader? Or previous leader?
Ito na, nagpa-blind
of this
item
country?
pa naman si Sir
I
Lagman.
will
Grabe
answer the
naman.
question of Congressman Opalbay, Congressman Eche Lagman. But before I will answer your question, Mr. President of the PDP party, are you here? Mr.
Ayun!
President, Congressman Alvarez, the one who uttered that word is our chairman from PDP Laban. Before I will answer, I will resign now as
Ayun!
member
Ayan
and
na!
officer of PDP Laban. The
Magre-resign na.
former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. The one who
Ayun,
said,
nagpangalan na. Wala
Mr.
nang blind
Chairman.
item.
Thank you,
Ito
Mr.
kasi si
Chairman.
Edsel Lagman nagba-blind item pa eh. Ito na. Okay, so ito nakita niyo na. So it's not from me, sila na. Ayan. So nag-resign na sa PDP Laban, isa sa mga top leaders ng PDP Laban sa kasalukuyan ng Kongreso. At wala na yung blind item. Ako nga, hanggang blind item lang ako eh. Di ba? Yung mga Teddy Boy, Abunda. Hindi naman si Tito Boy. Baka magalit si Tito Boy sa atin, ha. Hindi, alam niyo na yung mga binablind item natin nung last week. In fairness naman, nag-sorry yung nagba-blind item. Ito na. Official na to eh. Ito na talaga. Mga ka-Mets. Mga ka-Uniteam. Mga ka-Uniteam, kamusta na kayo dyan? Masaya na ba kayo? Ito na. This is it. Pansit. Alright, okay. So, ito na. Nasaan na to? Hindi ko mahanap. Ayan. Senior Deputy Speaker. Hindi lang Deputy Speaker. Senior Deputy Speaker. Ayan yung mga trolls natin, no? Yung mga losers dyan. Okay. Si Senior Deputy Speaker Representative Aurelio Si Atom Aurelio, di ba? Okay. And then, I'm just checking. Or Marcos Aurelius. Hindi. Representative Aurelio Dong Gonzales. Ayan. Pinangalanan niya ang dating presidente when he talked about how he was hurt dito by the statement that challenged the integrity ng House of the Representatives. Sabi niya, so nakita niya kanina, the one who uttered the word is our chairman from PDP Laban. But before I answer, yan talagang may drama eh. I will resign now as a member and officer of PDP Laban. It was former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Ayan, that's it. Booyaka siya. Ayan, so this development came after Gonzales sponsored on the plenary floor House Resolution 1414, which calls on the House to, quote, uphold the integrity and honor of the House of Representatives and express appreciation, solidarity, and support for House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Ayan, of course, the context was itong SMNI. Andiyan pa rin yung SMNI. I thought natanggal na sa YouTube. Ayan, yun ang baka nawala sa ng audience dyan sa Ayan, nagwala si tatay dun sa isang SMNI interview. Nagwala-wala siya. Alright, ayan. Nagwala-wala siya dyan. Ayan, but this is where things get very interesting, no? So mukhang may seal of the princeling na rin. Representative Sandro Marcos, Ilocos Norte 1st District. Oh, yung mga kapsat dyan, Ilocos. Agawid ka. Discussion tayo dyan. Okay. Ito, sabi niya, I can't give the exact date, but I believe it was done in a TV network and some words were said to malign the reputation of our institution. Alright? So this is from the princeling, right? So now you have really, really high-level people, senior Deputy Speaker of the House, another Deputy Speaker of the House that happens to be the princeling. And now, even the Speaker of the House himself has made it very clear that they will make sure that they will not tolerate any kind of direct insult dito sa integrity ng House of Representatives, which, by the way, includes people who were member or who were member until just the other hour ng PDP laban. Ayan na mga kameta. Panoorin natin ulit, parang gusto ko yung mga blind item na hindi na blind item bigla eh. Ito na talagang politika natin ha. Ulitin natin ha. Ito makasaysayan to eh kasi this might
Mr. Chairman.
This might more or less be the official beginning of it, diba? Ulitin natin na. Wala akong sinasabi. You can see it yourself, mga kameta. You can hear it yourself. Ulitin natin na.
When I heard the word rotten,
Hurt.
of course, I felt bad regarding Mr. Chairman.
I also would feel bad hearing that accusation that the house is rotten. But may we know who uttered that statement?
Ito
Was it
si Sir
a comic
Lagman, parang pwede rin
or
siya mag-fast talk Pang
a
Tito
leader
Boy style yan Sino
or
ba
previous
yan?
leader
Pwede ba natin
of this country?
Yan.
I will answer the question of Congressman Opalbay, Congressman Eche Lagman. But before I will answer your question, Mr. President of the PDP party,
Yun.
are you here?
That's
Mr.
it.
President, Congressman Alvarez,
That's it.
the one who uttered that word is our chairman
Yun.
from PDP Laban. Before I will answer, I will resign now
Yun.
as member and officer
Ang
of
dami
PDP
na.
Laban.
Dito sa YouTube
The
natin,
former
dami
president,
mga held for review, mga
former
review.
president,
Nagagalit na yung mga pro-tatay people.
Rodrigo Roa Duterte, the one who said that, Mr. Chairman.
Yan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, eto na. So, don't worry guys. Pag-usapan natin more this shortly. Give us an hour or so. Pag-usapan namin gusto ko kasi mas makulit pang pag-usapan to eh. Alam niyo, I'm very polite, I'm very nice, I'm very politically correct. So, hintayin natin si Ronald Llamas to spill the beans. Alright? But, alam niyo naman, noon pa lang, parati natin sinasabi na, again, everything I say is based on evidence, facts, sources. I even posted there. We'll post the link. Right? Sabi ko noon, 2021 pa lang, I've been looking at this dynamics na how this thing, whether this thing is sustainable should the two major houses come together. Ayan, yung mga kasolid DDS. Kamusta naman kayo dyan? Yan. So, eto mga ka-DDS, mga ka-Uniteam. Yung sinasabi ko, 2021 pa lang sinasabi ko. So, yung mga ibang nagpapa-political henyo, ay nako, late kayo sa laron yan. Nauna na tayo dyan. Ayan, 2021 pa lang, pinag-usapan ko na yung House of Marcos and House of Duterte getting into competition. Of course, back in 2021, it was slightly different context, but more or less, the dynamic is not too far from what we were looking at back then. Okay, so just to be clear, when we say things, it's based on evidence and what we have written. Andyan, may resibo po. Alright? Paki-check on your own. And then, of course, I wrote later on how it turned in the opposite direction, and then of course makikita niyo rin sa mga vlogs natin with si parang Ronald Llamas. Si Ronald actually mas optimistic pa sa akin. Ako, I said siguro the confluence of interest will kind of hold this coalition of convenience longer than perhaps many critics presume, but it looks like the pace of disintegration has completely accelerated. Nag-Lamborghini lever na. Formally, nag-level ng ganun, diba? So, Lamborghini, nag-next level na yung speed. So, let's see. I mean, later on, pag-usapan natin, is this it? Has another line been crossed, or this is it? This is the final line. But as I said, this is the closest we can come to an official announcement of the end of the de facto unity. Maybe Sar has still some room for maneuver on her own part if she decides to really distance herself from Tatay. But again, that will be a very complicated dynamic. I don't want to get into the intra-family dynamics. But as far as positioning, as far as messaging from the top leadership of the House, which in this case, if you look at the Speaker of the House, de facto right man of the current president, I think more or less you can read the writing on the wall. No? Again, having said that, stay tuned. Pag-usapan pa natin more this in an hour or so with parang Ronald Llamas. We'll have a more entertaining, more back and forth version of that, and I'll let him do the spill the beans part. But at least the big picture na provide po natin dito, and ipopost ko rin yung mga links, etc. so that you can read on these things on your own. Alright? Because lahat naman kayo, expert na kayo. Nag-ano lang naman tayo dito Nag-chichika-chika marites lang tayo. But this is not just marites. I mean, this is serious stuff, right? So, I'll end on this point. Yung mga dyan, excited na ba kayo na maging kasama niyo na si tatay sa opposition? Alright? Malapit na talaga yung officially opposition. Ito si tatay, di ba? Excited na ba kayo maging opposition? So, anong feeling ng mga taga-opposition? Excited na kayo sa kasama niyong bago or lilipat na kayo? Nasaan na tayo? Let's go! Yan, magko-comment na. Let's go! Eto na, let the games begin. Parang ang gulo nito. Sino na ang opposition ngayon kung mag-opposition tong mga to? Malamang yung mga Makabayan Block, anti-Duterte yan, di ba? Grabe yung nangyari, away-away ngayon. Sana naman mangyari sa mga pink. Mga kakamping dyan. Excited na ba kayo? May dadagdag sa inyo sa opposition or lilipat na kayo? Or saan ba kayo pupunta? Di ba? Yun yung tanong ngayon. So, pag-usapan natin itong mga realignment, circularity, crossover, LeBron James, Lakers. Yan, lahat yan pag-usapan natin very shortly. On that note, thank you. Thank you very much. Magsasenador na daw yung si tatay. Yeah, I won't be surprised if one or two members of the family run for the Senate. Actually, even potentially two, right? So, next level na ito. Let's see what's gonna happen 2025. But, as you can see, let the games begin. 2028 is now officially open, right? Wala ng Uniteam. So, this is it. Welcome to Philippine politics. Parati may plot twist. Okay, thank you very much guys and talk to you soon. Alam ko pupunta na kayo sa kabila, yung iba pumunta na sa kabila kasi alam ko na may show yung isang kaibigan natin dyan. No? Punta na kayo dyan. Sorry, medyo late ako nag-start kasi I had to write yung tribute natin kay Conrado de Quiros. So let me say again one more time my deepest condolences to the family loved ones of Sir Conrado de Quiros, and salamat sir for your great contribution not only to political discourse and not only to the art of writing, but also to the life of many young columnists, including yours truly, who have been inspired by the courage of conviction and the brilliance of columns that you pass down to the next generation. And we hope that in our own small ways, we can also continue this great legacy from Rizal all the way down and hopefully way into the future. Maraming salamat, God bless, and talk to you soon, very soon, in an hour or so, God willing.